All right, so the last preseason game or regular season game coming up here. Wow, I jumped way back right there. Last regular season game, and one that we need to make sure that we finish this regular season on a positive note, and continue to work on consistency and doing things right. And kind of like we did basically in the second half, we played a really good half of football, and so that's our focus to continue to move in that direction.
How do you do that at this stage? 16 weeks in, what do you need to do to find them?
Well, like we talked about last week, Curtis. Every week that we come out, I mean, we're trying to do the job the best that we can. We're trying to get better in different areas. For example, our third downs. We've been at a pretty consistent rate now for like the last 4 weeks. I think we're converting about 48% of the time. So that's something that we fixed. Red zone, is something that we can continue to work on. Really, the game was a tale of the two halves. In the first half, I think on third down we were 1 of 8. In the second half, we're 7 of 9. To help us to get to where we were. But basically, it's just continuing to focus each and every play, not get ahead of ourselves, not worry about the last play, and just continue to focus on that moment and to be able to make that next play successful.
What was the difference that got you going in the second half? Obviously converting on third downs, but what kind of led to that one?
Well, I mean, that's a huge part of it is converting on third down, because that allows you to have more plays. In the first half, we just really were out of sorts. I mean, we weren't ourselves. We had some uncharacteristic errors of all sorts. Alignments, assignments, play calls. It was just really a little bit of everything that we haven't done. And Tom did a great job at halftime of talking to our guys and getting them refocused. And I think you could tell when we came out there was a different focus, there was a different tempo, there was a different obviously we were making plays and being able to stack one successful play on another. And I think that that really made the difference.
Not having Tyler, I mean, obviously we saw it for a half, but going forward, not having him, how does the receiving corps kind of shake out?
Well, you just have to, the next man up, as it always is. We hate to lose a guy of Tyler's caliber, and it was great to see him and talk to him, and he's in really great spirits, and I mean he's trying to even build our guys up. So we're excited about where he's going to be able to be. But we'll put P. Rich in there some. We'll obviously Jermaine. We still have Jermaine that can go back to X or can go over there to X, and P. Rich will be in there a little bit. And I think you'll see some of those guys kind of moving through. We're still trying to work all those guys in. We're trying to find more stuff for Tanner to do. Cason's up. He's been doing a great job and worked really hard in practice. We're excited about what he brings. So we like our core.
How does Cason fit?
Well, he fits because he's been here a long time, so he knows all our stuff. The quarterback loves throwing to him. I mean, in practice, he finds opportunities to get him the ball, and he makes plays for us in practice. So, unfortunately for Tyler, but fortunate for Cason, he's got an opportunity. So he'll get a chance to see if he can make those same plays he makes in practice in games.
Paul was really coming on in his rookie year late, and then he had the injury, and then he gets back, and he's maybe kind of below Tyler on the depth chart. Do you get a sense he's really ready for this opportunity to kind of show what he can do?
Yeah, he's been chomping at the bit for a while, and he's kind of the consistency and then basically injuries has been something that's kind of held him back, and so he's overcome those injuries now. He's been playing some consistent ball as of late, so I know he's been dying to get in there. We're excited to have him in there. It still brings us that speed that we look for over at that position. Can make plays down the field. He's really good at getting in and out of his breaks as well. So, we feel like we still have a good part there.
Darrell, you had that 4-game stretch where you averaged more than 160 yards on the ground, and that's been down the last couple of weeks. What do you think is the first thing that needs to happen to get that turned around? Is it a case of getting healthy as running back? Is it a blocking thing? What do you think is the priority?
I think it's a little bit of all that. Obviously we're working on it each and every week to bring the run game along. The plays that we're asking the guys to do, making sure that they can that everyone's on the same page. Communication is great. Also, the runners. We've kind of had Rolodex of runners that have been in there as well, and to be able to get a consistent look at it for them to see it more than once or twice. Obviously, being able to convert third downs so that we can continue drives and call more runs. So I think it's a little bit of all that.
Jimmy Graham obviously had a real big play in the game, but the overall numbers the last couple of games have been down from where he was. Is this kind of a game-to-game thing and opportunities, or how does that, I guess?
Yeah, it's Bob, it's something that we focus on each and every week. I mean, we really want to make sure that we're getting all our guys involved. Not just Jimmy. I mean, it's not a focus to get him the ball or anything. But there's games where Jermaine has a big game, but we know obviously we did a great job of getting Doug involved in the game. We can do better at getting Jimmy involved, and we'll continue to look at that. I mean, Tyler has started to take some of that when he was there as well, and so we're always looking for opportunities to get him. He's a huge part of what we do. I mean, he makes big plays. He brings energy to us when he ends up making plays. So he's definitely something that we need to continue to work on.
Does it seem like defenses are keying on him a little bit more maybe than they were at the beginning of the year? Or?
I don't know that. I wouldn't say any different than normal. I mean, teams know that we have him, and we're just continuing to work on it.
It seemed like Russell was really ripping the ball there in the second half too, hitting his shots and getting rid of it. And everything was coming in on time. What allowed him to do that? Was it just purely getting protected a little better, or was he seeing stuff a little bit cleaner, or how did you kind of see it?
It's probably a little bit of all that. Early in the game, we just, from that first drive, we just got from the offensive pass interference. We were off the first 15. You're trying to catch up and down a distance. Got a little bit of pressure early, and then the second drive, first play, you're sacked. So he was moving around a little bit. We were not in sync up front. And finally, I think I think it was the third drive where we got a first down and kind of moved it a little bit and popped the ball out of there quick. But then once we got to the second half, where the line obviously they did a really nice job. They were all in sync. They were more patient. They were seeing the combinations better. They were passing off stunts really well. He was staying in there seeing it. We were getting the ball out, but we had a variety of throws. We had throws where he could get it out quick. Then we had some where we felt like, okay, we've kind of got him where we want him. Then we could work it to go downfield a little bit. But the second half was great. I mean, what we did is what we need to continue to build on. I mean, that was exciting football. We were explosive. We converted on third down. We scored in the red zone. We ran it. We threw it, and that's what we're building on.
How have Thomas Rawls' injuries changed your play calls the last 12 months or so?
Well, I mean, everything has an effect on it. I can't say Thomas Rawls. I mean, the whole game. You're assessing every situation that you have. Who you have, who you don't have, how they're doing, how we're doing. It's a game of cat and mouse the whole time. So, to say it changes because Thomas is in there or not in there, everything affects it. We're trying to find the best way to move the ball down the field, put the ball in the end zone, and score points. And it changes with a lot of things.
Has he been in there enough in the last year that you have a feel of what the offense can do, will do when he's in there?
I know I love it when he's in there. We have a different mentality, have a different feel about us. He runs downhill. He's violent. He sees things well, and he punishes the defense. So it brings a different mentality to us when he's in there. And I think teams have to play for that. And so definitely. I love having him in there.
What have you seen out of J.D. McKissick in the last week?
We're still kind of trying to get a feel for him. I see that obviously he can catch the ball really well. We're doing some things in practice with him, and he looks like he reads it really well, and he can see things. Made some nice cuts, so we'll continue to bring him along, see what we'll get him up to speed with.
Pete mentioned that he saw in the first half that linemen were lunging on their blocks. What was causing it?
Well, you can do it to a number of things, but it's different whether it's in the run game, it's in the pass game. In the pass game, you have to do a great job with your technique. You have to sit back. You can't sometimes attack them when you want it to. You need to be patient. That's what I talk about when passing off some of the stunts. If you get lunged out over those, then the guy that's coming from the outside can beat you. So it was a little bit of combination. I think they probably were a little over anxious, over aggressive, and their feet were going pretty quickly. In the second half, I think they settled it down. Like I said, Tom did a great job of communicating with them and getting them settled in, focusing on one play at a time, and we did a nice job in the second half.
Russell said last week that this season's been a whirlwind for him just because of the injuries and stuff he's gone through. Just how would you characterize his season and kind of where he is now as you go into Week 17 in the postseason?
Well, I think we can't believe it's already the 17th week of the season. So it has been a whirlwind, and I think it's been fast because there's been so much every week to, it's something new. There's been a new challenge, something to focus on, whether it's, his ankle and then, then the knee and then, then we lose this guy, then we lose that guy. And there's just a whirlwind of, always moving ahead. Okay, what do we got to change now? What do we got to fix now? And so it's been a whirlwind through the whole thing. And here we are at the end.
Have you seen anything different from this Niners team now versus when you saw them earlier in the year?
Well, they have a little bit of different personnel. I mean, they've on the defensive side, they've lost a few guys, so that's a little bit different. But as far as the scheme wise, we know all the scheme, we know all the players that they have. They have added a couple new guys, but scheme wise, it's pretty much the same.
What's your internal sort of level of anxiety when you see Russell stepping back and he's just the offensive line is just getting beat the way they were, particularly in the first half, and there's just defensive linemen all over him. He's scrambling for his life. This is a guy who's considered he's the franchise in a way.
Mm-hmm.
As you're watching that, what's going on in your head?
Well, what goes on in my head is how can I help him? What can I do to make it right? Whether it's how we get the ball out, the style of protections that we use, and how do I help him? How do I help the line? And it's any number of things to be able to try to ease that pressure. There are times when he gets early pressure and he gets out, then I say look out. We like it when he can get out of the pocket, but when he gets closed in, then that's the times where I'm saying, okay, what can I do? I got to help us here, and how can I get it to where that's not happening and we have more time.
How has Alex Collins looked the last few weeks, and do you have a feel for what he's best at?
Yeah, really liked what he did in the last game. He made some really big plays for us. He ran the ball well. He was probably as decisive as he has been with his reads. He was really hitting it. He made a couple nice catches in practice, and then it showed up in the game. He had a really nice third and short conversion over there to get us the first down. So I really like the way he's coming along.
The pass catching stuff, I don't think he did a lot of that in school. What have you seen specifically?
Yeah, there was a play in practice last week that it was a great catch, and so it's like, okay, he's doing a really nice job. I think it always helps when the game slows down for you. You start to understand. You've been here long enough that you've heard some of the words enough. You've run the routes enough, run the runs enough that you get enough looks at it to slow some things down. And I think it's starting to happen. And so that's why he was really decisive in the run game. Made great catches, and I think his hands, is what you're asking about, have been great.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.